Well, we're back into map number 2 here. Sprout up 1 against the Bad News Eagles, but Mirage tends to be a map that plays a little bit more to the Bad News Eagles' strength, so we're going to see if that kicks off right here in this pistol round. Pretty straightforward setup. Bit of util, smoking a flash, and everybody's postured here towards A. So util's going to go over, and the players are going to follow.
StaehrH needs to get back. He's rotated off at just the worst time, and Slax is dead. Zyphon has to do work, and that is a catastrophe for Sprout. Not sure what's up with the rotates, but this round is over, and honestly, maybe even save. There's no way you're retaking this.
Yeah. I mean, you've actually got quite a bit, right? You've got 2 sets of armor, some utility as well. It's a lot to bring into a second round, so they're going to try and do it. StaehrH withdrawn, Synopsy might try and get around on the hunt. But this is a very decisive pistol round to kick things off. Kind of what you love to see. Lau will at least add a blemish. But it's traded back in kind, and that was the util. That was the util gone. That was a smoke and a flash, if I'm not mistaken, on Slax. So, not ideal to lose that early on. Couple more blemishes added by Refresh, and you know what? Those 2 kills, those can rebuy the util if they want it.
Would love a third. That'd be an M4. And yeah, I'm just perplexed. They have a double under push, and then Slax feels like he needs to go off and pick up B when that's already covered off by the under push. It's not very well thought out, and yeah, not the Sprout we saw in Vertigo. So hopefully that's a small blip and not indicative of anything else here on Mirage.
I don't even remember. It was a hot start as well for the Bad News Eagles on that map. They do tend to be a team that does well when, I mean, pistol rounds strip things down. Sometimes they're more basic components, right? Aim, headshots. In that kind of an environment, the Bad News Eagles thrive. Man, they really do. The individual skill is always on point with this squad. GXX might have a punish angle later on. They could even boost up into this. You got to be a little wary with the Ego on the other side, but it's not a bad way to approach this fight. They've gained mid control. That's been given over. It is a bit of a stack towards A, so well positioned perhaps for the CTs. It's all going to be about what happens when push actually doesn't push up. Oh, there's the spot. Refresh. Info. At some substantial risk. Not quite a boffin. He may die for this one. EyeGun's got the initial space. Zyphon first capture. Refresh has just been chilling. Yes, they do. Okay. This round has been nicely defanged until the bomb gets dropped right in front of Lau. He's hit another LauNX, making it interesting here. A 2v3. StaehrH with the rifle could be the difference maker. They let him get this kill. He will eventually have it. And it comes down to just GXX. He's got the lineup, but they've got a smoke. No kit. But smoking a molly, I mean, the 10-second isn't impossible. How good's your lineup, GXX? How well do you know your angles? Apparently, pretty well. This player's gotten back on. He's checking it. Oh, no. They're going to get the full defuse right under him. And the kill to add insult to injury. What a second round for Sprout.
Almost felt like that smoke was actually helping him, because without a smoke, then the other player on Sprout could just swing trade, and it's not even an afterplant. And obviously, he's not going to commit through the smoke to try and find the kill. So, yeah, makes it interesting. But Mr. LauNX arrives here on Mirage, picking up where he left off on Vertigo. Instant reset, economic control now for Sprout. Winning those reset rounds is everything. And look at this investment for Bad News Eagles. Jim Flatcher simply has to do work on this AK, or there are going to be a lot of rounds down here early on.
Flatro has some space in towards mid. Once again, this has been conceded here for Sprout. Bit of presence shown with the spam in the apartment kitchen. It's mostly just to hold players in place. Slacks. Oh, did he spot a barrel? That's when Flatro was getting into position. He's decently set up for this. Flatro's getting into the corner, and oh, there it is. The audio cue falling off the lip. I think that's what gave him away. Either way, Slacks collects. That's the one rifle in an unretrievable position. But, okay, all right. That's a way to create. GXX had some crazy rounds towards the end of Vertigo, and it seems like maybe some of that energy is going to be carried over to map number 2 here.
Big fight. Big fight. Round's actually on. If StaehrH hits the deck, not to be the case. Synopsy does recover the AK, but it's a little effect. And a game of whack-a-mole here as scenario sticks his head up and connects. So 24 seconds. I think you just need to go in and die, brother, because you definitely don't want to save this or live after time. Do you want to save? Surely not. You just get the loss bonus.
That'd be a terrible idea.
I think he should just ran in.
Yeah. He's saving.
To be out of sync with all his teammates.
I hate this a lot.
He's just saved 1,700 on a 1,900 loss bonus.
I really hate this a lot. But the stats, Alan. Stats.
That's what it's all about.
Well, that's a decision. We'll move on. It is really going to set their economy up to be weird from the
I've never
jump.
seen anything like that, honestly. I've never seen somebody save when it's so obvious that you should just run in and die.
I mean, maybe Scenario pops 3 heads in this round and we look like fools.
But he could have bought the same and had a flashbang.
Alan, maybe he pops 3 heads in this round and we look like fools. Let's not worry about the details, okay? Let's not worry about the finer points of this one. He's dead. Never mind. Armor was great. Very, very critical in this situation. This round's going to be a wash, and again, their money's going to be weird into the next, as that's an early stumble for the Bad News Eagles. Clean for Sprout. They'll be very happy with the way that last sequence played out.
They'll be laughing as well. They'll know as well that one player's got no cash. Yeah, for Sprout. Where was this Sprout yesterday? They're just dominant. They look really clean, Mike. They're making so few mistakes. Team plays on point. Util usage is good. Where we're looking at the moment, Sprout are just formidable. How on earth do you stop them?
Nice early exchange. You do lose Zyphon, though. He was a really nice piece over on Vertigo. Really love the way he's playing into this roster. I think this Sprout team, again, stumbled yesterday, but I think the Sprout team is going to be kind of spicy headed into Rio. I got a lot of optimism for them. I think they might have, with the changes coming through, Refresh and Zyphon coming in, maybe gotten over their issues with the, shall we say, tendency to choke.
I'm not sure it's even choking. I think it's more inconsistency.
Well, I remember a Pro League conference.
I remember a U-Jerks.
I remember a U-Jerks. RigoN, okay, all right, there we go. Through the smoke, catches one flat shot with another, and this is looking good for the Bad News Eagles. These Eagles, they may have just found an Eerie. The question's going to be, what can LauNX do on the flank? He's being watched for. And dead. Okay, round over. Refresh? Really? Whoa! Refresh thinking he was up against Liquid, but this time it's not to be.
Indeed, indeed. Refresh. He was thinking internally, give me 5 good men, and we can impregnate.
I'm sorry, what?
That Eerie. It's a Game of Thrones reference. They say the Eerie's impregnable, and Bron said, give me 5 good men, and we can impregnate the female dog.
Yep. Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Good to know. Good to know.
We're always informative. We're
here to educate.
Give everything.
I don't know if that's quite educational.
It's cultural.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good with pop culture. I don't think that was in the books.
Ooh. I know the books pretty well. I don't think it is.
It's been a long time since I read them. I've lost all hope that we'll get another. Were you a reader before the show?
No. What I actually did was watch the end of season 8 and then thought this was so bad I have to read the books. And then,
the books are phenomenal.
Yeah,
But they will never end at this point because the only thing he has to gain is nothing. He can only lose by writing those books. So I think he's too scared to ever do it. This is a stack, and it's an ill-advised one. Unless Lau hits some serious shots with this op, this is probably not even a retake. And he gave up the angle at an inopportune time, so LauNX is withdrawing. It's going to be a big first kill, and frankly, at this point, with no positioning in towards the site, there's a logic to just pulling the plug. StaehrH gets a kill, but it is traded back. Everything in terms of positioning works for the Bad News Eagles here. refrezh is going to try and get some done on Cat. He's done for, and now it's just StaehrH surviving. This was a really rough rotation call coming through from Sprout, and just serious miscues all the way down.
I guess it wouldn't be a surprise if I said they're playing like Heroic, considering where refrezh came from. They're taking big risks early round of calling into different areas of the map. Last round they did 0A, I think it was 2 mid, 3B, took the apps control and lost A before they could really capitalize on it. And this round they try to adjust exactly the other way and essentially give up B, harder fight mid and A, and the opposite happens. That is always the risk you run versus playing more standard ABC Counter-Strike, and you see that with Heroic, and maybe a hallmark of Sprout to come. But yes, we're never getting wins of Windsor, and we're especially never getting Dream of Spring. So,
well, I mean, he even said he was going to split Winds of Winter into 2 books.
Oh, it has to be.
And then Dream of Spring. I mean, at this point, he's been writing it for a decade, right? Like,
yeah,
man's got to have 7 tomes prepared, but I just don't think it's happening. Maybe he's going to pull a Jefferson and have the books fully written and only release them once he's gone. So he doesn't have to deal with the backlash.
I didn't know Jefferson did that, but
he did it. So Jefferson did it with an edit of the Bible called the Jeffersonian Bible. Where
I have heard of this.
Ooh, one flasher! Almost dropped! This is getting weird. They've triggered the stack. They've triggered the trap. But ESL, he's defusing it. And oh my goodness, ESL should have been by all rights dead in that one. So now we can go back to talking about Jefferson, because this round is effectively over. So he did an edit of the Bible where he didn't believe in any of the spiritual, supernatural stuff in the Bible, but he thought Jesus Christ was a great philosopher. And so he edited a version of the Bible that has no references to miracles or water into wine or any of that stuff. It's just meant to be the distilled philosophy of the New Testament. But he was so scared of the backlash to doing that he only had it published after he died.
Well, we'll take our copium and hope this is going to happen.
I don't think so. I think George R.R. is just off busy having fun with what's the new one called? House of the Dragon and all that other stuff. Which, again, to be fair, I will say I don't blame him. Because if I toiled in relative obscureness for the entirety of my career only to get enormously famous at the age of like 60, I too would spend all of my time just enjoying that. I get it.
Here we go, though. bNE selected A. 2 players here. Slacks. No AWP this time. Zyphon underneath balcony. Look at ERigoN creeping out further and further. He's going to check on the balcony. The timing's awful on the peak, and that's a great entry kill.
They are really having a lot of trouble with these initial fights towards A. Man down. This is still potentially recoverable. The nade will actually force Slacks forward. Synopsy didn't realize. Oh, that's the bomb drop. 55 seconds on the clock. GXX is so low, this USP is enough to battle him. Woohoo! And there's the trap. There's the catch. Slacks has gained his up. And a 1v1. Oh my god, Slacks! A 4K in this one. He steps up huge.
Who needs Farlig? Who needs Farlig when you're having rounds like this? What is going on? Wow, I mean, I'll be blunt and say Bad News Eagles are playing very sloppy Counter-Strike today. There's a lot of weird things going on where they're not playing well off each other, or someone's getting caught off guard. Maybe they're boot camping really hard and this is the end of the day, and you know they're already played 8 scrims and they're absolutely cooked. But this is not the team that's playing at the RMR. They, even individually, it's only been ERigoN across these 2 maps to do anything. GXX had a couple good rounds, but it was already over on Vertigo by that point. We just need to see a lot more, and thank God ERigoN at least is playing well.
bNE have been having, I mean, across both maps, right? Having a lot of success in these initial phases. Look at this position. Scary! Oh, he only gets 1. just not quite realizing the potential of the spot, and Slack's now. His vision is cleared. Smoke's going to go in actually to clear him. 2v2, rifle gained here for Staehr. They're going to try and get the bomb planted, but Slacks slips. That's so bold on the posturing, and, well, he's going to trade it out. This is messy. This is so messy. Staehr expects GXX to go for the bomb, but knowing that that's the expectation, he's playing around the edge of the smoke, and on the fade, he's going to collect. What a brilliant bit of individual maneuvering here. That one comes down to the wire, but it's bad news Eagles in the wash.
Well, GXX, we mentioned him at the start, kind of midpoint of Vertigo, where he wasn't fragging and had a few good rounds. Combines of Rigon to make that one doable, and actually they've kept Sprout's money so low that forces out the pause as they discuss what to do from here. I don't think it can be an investment, so not being the cleanest Counter-Strike in the world for bad news Eagles, of course, capitalized off a couple unfortunate, let's say, stacks and reads from Sprout. But nevertheless, we're at least looking in a lot better shape than we ever did on Vertigo.
This round gets way messier than it needs to be. And Zyphon rewarding my feeling early on. Eagle connects. Bad news Eagles, they've got a toe hold. They don't want to give it up, but they're continuing to duel with this dig, and the longer it goes on. Okay, that's a good way to deal with it. That's a good way to mitigate the risk, and now order is being restored. Staehr, though, wants to keep things interesting. Gets one more kill. Wants to take the fight to him, and okay, it's not bad. Nice 4K for bNE.rigoN, continuing to be the piece right now for the bad news Eagles. But a lot of these rounds have just been pretty straightforward A takes, right? We've seen a lot of the A takes. We've seen a lot of the play out from ramp, straight into it. They're not even fussing as much with mid control anymore. And for the last few, it's been working nicely.
Do you like a good contact play? And how are we defaulting here? Free towards A at start. Got some mid smokes landing. But that's more of a ruse. Top con as well comes in. And look at this. Early Palace. There's a couple on A and refresh. Look at him tucked in. Oh, this is a hard spot to clear from Palace.
A lot's going to come down to Synopsy's first contact, I think. Here comes the util. Synopsy's working his way out of connector. Slack's giving him the space. So this could get a little hairy. They haven't found the contact they're hoping for yet. What's Synopsy going to be able to do here? Clearing in towards jungle. He's taking this fight. And he's dealt with. Nicely played from Slack. That's a huge find early. Takes a lot of the fangs out of this round. And I think it's going to trigger a rotate for the bad news Eagles. They've just lost their second player on towards A. So this heavy emphasis. They're full rotating through spawn. And at some point, Sprout's going to realize, oh no, they're just going ramp. Huh. They smoked out Palace, and instead of waiting that smoke, they've decided to go full ramp. Readjusting here. So Sprout is thinking, hey, maybe they rotated. Turns out, no, they didn't. They just reset a little bit. Refresh has tucked his way on in under Valk. He's been checked here in a lot of rounds. Oh, Scenario's making mad noise. Eventually, Refresh is going to get activated, and that isn't going to be a kill found. There it is. Tons of damage done. The bomb's still stuck in Palace. And bNE.rigoN has gotten his way in towards mid, but he's not got the health for a sustained fight. First bullet will do him in, unless he connects a headshot. bNE.rigoN's insane individual play again shining here, but Scenario's realized he doesn't actually have the time to rotate towards B as he was perhaps planning, so he'll reset ramp. They've got no time to spare. They're running out of seconds on the clock, and at this point, Sprout just don't want to give them the fight because they know as soon as that bomb goes down, well, here's the punish, here's the kill, here's the round. Nicely held from Refresh.
That was a really great round from Sprout. Had the reads. Committed to the A stack. Palace smoke comes in. And equally on the other side for bad news Eagles, it's so laboured and slow. They never get out of Palace before they get stalled out. Maybe they could have cancelled, seeing that there was nobody in mid, and guessed it was, you know, Sprout playing sights or something to that accord. Either way, won't change the result. GXX fortunately has enough money for an AWP. Early boost, but nobody's crossing the bench early. So nobody found.
That's an interesting duel here with Synopsy. Oh, he's going to realize it. And deal with that issue. LauNX, he's still the B anchor over here. Just a little bit, shall we say, less sexy of a position on Mirage. And it is on Vert. StaehrH. Overwhelmed. Just gets one. Uh-oh. Mid's opened up. They could potentially boost in the window. Take that space, retrieve that gun, and that's exactly what Juan Flacho is going to do. No boost needed. A little hop, skip, and a jump from the bench. So now a lot of positioning in the middle of the map, and he's going to go... Someone's watching for it, though. Zyphon aware and ready to deal with that present danger. So, that'll play out a con. Zyphon will be first contact for them as he's come back to respond from Ticket. He even goes 1 for 1 here. Wow, I was going to say it should be done. That's not going to happen, so it's refrezh who has to be the Guardian instead. And he's let them go past. He's let them go past so they'd overlook this spot. So he could come in for the cleanup. There's going to be the first. Down to just ERigoN now. ERigoN's been incredible. He's got 35 seconds to work. He's got options being in the center of the map. And he's going to give them the slip in towards spawn. No one's watching for this. As I say that, though, LauNX is going to realize the issue, come back in, and deny ERigoN the chance to make this round interesting.
That was really well played from refrezh. They see, I guess they hear noise of at least 2 players in mid, and he says, well, there's nobody else around. I'm going to take space in towards A ramp and ensure this round can't be lost. Perfect play from him. LauNX as well, looking good at the end. And that economy has flipped right back the way of Sprouts. Double AWP now in play. As LauNX shows another string to his bow.
refrezh. Catches the first. Just clogs in this one. The world where he gets caught here in underpass, but, well, the cavalry is here. Cavalry's named Zyphon. What kind of a stallion would Zyphon be?
I don't know the actual breeds. So I couldn't tell you. A big one.
A big one?
A big, hairy, carrying one.
Alright.
All I can tell you is Grand National winners. They're the only horses I know anything about.
Got draft horses, got Arabians, war horses, paints, Mustangs, I think they're Pintos or some. I'm trying to remember what I know. Okay, goodbye StaehrH. Tell you what kind of horse he is. He's glue in this round. Oh, a second to follow as well. And this is looking good for the Bad News Eagles. They would love to get some more going at the end of the half. But wow. Oh, I don't think they know about this position of the apartments. They're certainly not checking for it. No one's got awareness. They're trusting. Playing quite a bit. And LauNX is going to punish them for it. Now up and out. He's got such a strong spot. He's dealt with, but it's a cleanup here. What a flank. What a recovery for Sprout.
There you go. Well, I think Bad News Eagles ended up in the glue factory in the end. Can you make glue out of eagles? There must be something in the bone marrow or something.
I mean, hollow bones, man, and birds. I don't think you can make very good glue.
Well, there's not a lot holding this map together for Bad News Eagles, so maybe that's the explanation. LauNX is just ridiculous.
Dude, he is.
He was...
And it feels like, again, he's so young. I think he's 19, maybe. That it feels like you just him and StaehrH. I mean, the ceiling is sky high. Wow. Okay, maybe not this round, though. That ceiling's coming crumbling down. It's been cratered. Slaps, that's a nutty shot in ERigoN, but it might just be style points on the back of a hopeless round. Let's see if StaehrH and the other young guns on this team, especially alongside Zyphon as well. I mean, the core of this squad is so young. So much more room for them to continue to grow, but StaehrH, see if he can give us a sneak peek of that future right here and now. His position's known. GXX is going to reset, but leaves himself very exposed indeed. Molly comes out immediately. Synopsy is ahead. This Synopsy is done. They're giving him the fight. He's just going to see. Knows he doesn't have time for the reload, and StaehrH will clothesline him. So one more round for the Bad News Eagles as we are going ahead to the half. Well, hello there. Second half between Sprout and bNE.gxx. Slim lead for Sprout, but bNE. One final explosive round there right at the end. Looked like StaehrH might almost bring it back, but couldn't happen. We had a couple of those where the bNE.gxx got good situations, and then suddenly it unraveled. There was the long flank in the previous. But ultimately, they still get 7 rounds out of the first half here, Alan. It's pretty well set up to see what we're going to get in the second.
They're in a good place. And surely if ERigoN maintains anything like this level, he's going to be a monster. An absolute bastion to get past. Gets a great timing on that first frag, and that was the play with the nades as well. So, hit stalled out, and Sprout needs to rethink.
Oh, there? Okay. Alright. Found some space. Found some death. Slacks has gotten through, but the bomb's dropped in jungle, so that's the fight they have to take. They have to creep into the jungle. They ain't got no machetes to clear out this undergrowth. She's gone. She's bullets. And okay, that might just be enough. He's so low. He's gone. Refresh finishes that off. It's all into scenario here. And scenario is going to try and reposition to be able to play off of that C4, but with the shutter unbroken, he knows he can't do this without giving up the audio cue, so that's brutal. There's still 30 seconds as well. They realize the shutter's unbroken now. So Sprout can feel pretty comfortable about where scenario's going to be coming in from. Good read, good shot. Scenario's gushed. One more bullet will take him out, and Zyphon will be the one to deliver it. A good pistol round recovery there for Sprout.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot in this series already where Sprout look really composed. Late round, it's not hectic. We're not taking individual duels. It's talk to each other, work out where these players are. Their communications look great today, whereas bNE.gxx are just throwing numbers at the problem time and time again, and it's not working. They were in such a strong position there. Bomb dropped in jungle. Synopsy surely felt like he'd done enough to secure the round, but it wasn't to be. And all they can do now is muster up a force buy. Look at Scenario. Cheeky angle. Is someone going to peek?
Survey says yes. Eventually. Oh, no. It could be Refresh, though. Oh, Refresh is coming and knocking. And if the underpass is rocking, well, Refresh might die in the smoke. Ah, they look away! And there's the kills. They're both from low. But there might be the finishing blow as well. The nade to chase. Goodbye, ERigoN. Oh, he just limps out of that one. 5 points of health. Shrapnel chasing him on down, but GXX getting a kill could keep things interesting. Problem is they've given up space towards B, and look at where the bomb is headed. Great response here from Sprout. ERigoN, the only one who can do anything about this, and a MAC-10 bullet will quickly deal with that. So bomb going down, you'd imagine this might turn into a save with the remaining gun. GXX at least has something of value to take to the next. But this is looking like Sprout tapping on double digis.
It was good mid-rounding as well from Sprout. Spotted 2 on A. GXX and the Rifler taking the fight over Zyphon. And they know going to be 1 on B. Head over towards there. Keep it simple. So yeah, it's going to be 10. Going to be 10, and Refresh is probably a little bit mad that Long stole both of his kills as he came out of underpass.
This game, if you look at the kill distribution as well over on the Sprout side, I mean, this is kind of the ideal, right? Everybody's contributing. There's not a lot of gap between the top and the bottom. Refresh is actually pacing it after that last round with 16 kills, but we've got 3 players on 13, 1 on 11. It's not the same story for the bNE.gxx right now. It's ERigoN absolutely going ham, 21 and 14. GXX also doing a lot to keep them in the game, but the rest of the roster has been struggling to find their footing, and that's not something we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing Synopsy, Scenario, and Juan Fletcher all contributing, and, well, they're going to need to get that started sooner rather than later, or they might just be out of this season of Challenger League. Spot for Refresh. He was just checking to see if there was someone pushing top mid off that flashbang. The MAC-10 means he's going to be really disadvantaged in these fights, but if he can just keep them focused here, I mean, honestly, that's quite a bit. And he's even given them the slip. So there's information gained about the presence in connector. It's pulled the presence as well, and now there's a lot of space to get in towards the site. This gap in the smoke, though, could be deadly. Synopsy's looking for it. Wants to activate on it. Or pray to this. Yeah, no, apparently not, because Refresh is in on a timely flank. No one is watching mid. And that's going to be the round done. Unless... No. Still done.
I'm a little confused how refrezh got all the way up into connector. Because they knew he was top mid.
Yep.
I don't know. There's been too many moments like this in this game where it's just kind of obvious low level of communication from bNE.gxx, where they clearly can play better Counter-Strike. So, a bit of a shame, But on the flip side, Sprout have showed up in a way that they didn't yesterday. They look
Can we talk about the cojones from refrezh as well? To know that he was 100% spotted, identified into its top mid, get the slip away, which most players would be super happy with, and then they'd readjust to play a safer route to their team. Think, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually just going to let it beat in and then go right back into mid and actually get the critical kills to win the round. That's a big individual play coming through from refrezh.
I guess he was kind of jiggling in the entire time when the nades are coming in and just saw nobody and kind of realized there's a big gap here where even if I'm not going to get kills, I'm going to get close and then activate off my teammates if I'm required. But as mentioned, it went even better than that and what?
He mollies himself, has to burn his smoke as well, so it's not just a wasted nade, it's 2 wasted nades, and positioning basically given up as well. I mean, that's about as bad of a miscue as you can get as a window player, apart from just dying. On Flatro, though, a kill will alleviate pressure here and mean that they do still have some presence in towards mid, but that's a sequence GXX would rather we weren't watching.
I think Stair even smoked window again because he was scared it was a really clever one-way on the left-hand side from his perspective.
That's one of those cute yakety sax moments. But Juan Flatro finally starting to make his mark in this map. Had some big moments on Vertigo. We haven't seen much of him here on Mirage, and they need Juan Flatro to deliver. ESL won't be. Synopsy could trade, but they've lost Juan Flatro. This round's back in doubt. Zyphon wants to rotate in to support his teammate. Slacks picks up a bit of util alongside CSGO. That Molotov, well, could make the difference, except he's a little overeager, not waiting for Zyphon to get into the angle to support him. Now it's all about Zyphon. Brings out the first, but Synopsy is good for a big round from Synopsy. So here's a really encouraging round for the bNE.gxx. It starts with Juan Flatro getting activated. It ends with a 3K for Synopsy. Those are 2 players you need online here.
Real hero, of course, GXX in window. Amazing.
Yeah.
Listen, the ultimate distraction.
Mind games.
How do the enemy know what you're doing if you don't know what you're doing?
The oldest trick in the book.
Yep, Art of War, page 4. Well, they've actually got the Sprout money very low, very quickly. Lack of a bomb plant will do that. So not out of the question. We can still have a very tight game on our hands, but this one does feel mightily important to set up the direction, the route, the map as we carve our way forwards. Casters are truly cartographers.
That's what I often say, you know. Me. Oh, what am I? I'm blanking on it. I want to say, my brain wants to say Machiavelli, but it's not Machiavelli. It's, the other Italian with a very similar sounding name. Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
Was he a cartographer?
Yeah, famous cartographer.
Wait.
Might be like the first map of the world. Modiglian?
Dig.
It's not Medellin. Oh God. Googling famous cartographer to try and not be crazy.
I'm doing the same. There's one guy in Twitch chat who knows this.
What did he say it is?
Well, I don't know. I haven't got a Twitch chat
That's
up.
true. We're also on a delay. Who am I thinking of? Alright, well, we're just going to go unknown until it occurs to me a little bit later on. But for the time, It's looking good for bNE's Eagles. They're making a map of victory. He's tagged up. He may not even really be able to escape for these saves. That's a big kill for refrezh. Doesn't get the upgrade, but he might give a pass out. refrezh wants to take the space towards B. That's not going to happen. Wow, though, catches a player. Slipping. He's got no health, and he's got no time. Does he have life? Yes, he does. Okay, no round win. Good damage. Good survival with an AWP.
You're not thinking of the Greek, are you? That made the map with the Black Sea in it. The famous one.
I don't think so, but I could be.
Well, like many great mysteries, we cannot solve it today. I will go to the British Museum tomorrow and find out. They must have an exhibit on cartography.
Maybe, but they were European, so less likely to have had all of their relics stolen by you.
I don't know. We have some wars. We take them over. We find a way. Well, 4 Glocks and an AWP. Sounds like a good bedtime story.
I don't know what you're thinking of bedtime stories. It sounds like a news headline.
No. I didn't say it was a good story.
I guess not.
It's a nightmare.
It's like the story of Mike not being able to remember what name he's trying to come up with.
As long as you're not thinking of, like, Michelangelo.
No, definitely not. Okay, Flacho is thinking about multi-frags. He's kind of stuck in the corner here. Could use some support from the player under Balk, but of course they got to be wary. Never mind, Flacho just does it all himself, and that one's clean for the bNE's Eagles. No chance to get weird in this round. 100% clean. That's exactly what they wanted. Now they can actually build up some bank. They've got the double op here on the CT side. This is coming up roses.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We haven't really seen anything from Sprout in the last few go-rounds to inspire us with confidence. And we see some nice calls out of refrezh because the CT side is just getting warmed up. RigoN now, second door. Playing with so much more vigor and aggression than we saw in the first half. Surely they saw GXX going off towards Catwalk, so no need to overface that. And look at bNE on the mini-map. They're so dynamic. Look at them trying to fight mid with all these numbers.
Magellan. He's Spanish. It's Magellan. All right, I figured it out. And now I'm happy to cast the round. My brain is satisfied, and Synopsy is as well, but not for long. Zyphon into the angle, gets caught with utility in hand. The timing for Flacho is great. But there's space towards B. Magellan might even be able to find this. RigoN, though, with the AWP, well, he's the navigation hazard here, and I mean, Flacho is going to be close at hand. Slacks, he gains space. And they're being allowed a bomb plant. I mean, they've got through. They're giving this over. So much so that Sprout are actually wary. Bomb will go down. A 2v3, this is impossible. There's no utility. But that is one of the best ways I've seen a player take that fight. You don't often see it because you're so exposed to Cat. Allow trusts his read. And it pays off. It pays dividends. Now GXX and Flacho, it's down to the gunfight, really. And it's all going to just be the one. Down to the clutch. Slack. He's been good in these posts. He's been good in these clutches. Is he going to have the timing on this one? Woo, just dodges the bullets. Flacho knows he has to close distance. He's got a kit. He's got time. But he doesn't have the shot. Slacks does it again. Another clutch pulled through for the Slackser.
Well, that was an FPL peak if I've ever seen one. That is the definition, the textbook definition of something you'd only learn playing a ludicrous number of hours and just knowing how many scenarios you in where you have to peek an AWP window to make it 2-on-2, and the only way you could physically win that fight is by getting on top of bench and peeking it. That is amazing. That is what a lot of Counter-Strike can do to a man.
Magellan. And he's Portuguese, apparently.
Was he the first to sail around the world?
He died before they did, but yes, his expedition. He was the first to open a naval passage to Asia, to find a naval passage from Europe to Asia. And then he died in a battle in the Philippines, apparently. And then his second in command finished the circumnavigation of the Earth.
Right. Was the Atlantic crossed before the Pacific?
I don't know.
In general, not with their expedition.
Well, so the proliferation of people in the Americas, right, was from the land bridge from Asia to like Alaska.
Yes.
So if you're talking about that, theoretically that was the first. But I think it depends on timelines. There's tales of there's apparently some archaeological record potentially of at least one fleet from China or boat from China making it across the New World, and there's some consideration that the Vikings did it.
The Vikings one is almost certainly true.
Yes, almost certainly. So I don't know what who was first, but I guess that would determine it, right? From China, presumably it's the Pacific. It's the Vikings. It's definitely the Atlantic, and in this round, it's definitely the bNE Eagle. Slash though. This would be another level, and it's not going to happen. No way, no how, not here. One round separates these two teams.
That was a low buy as well. That was money on the brink for bNE.gxx. Sprout are having good rounds in isolation. They just can't keep up the pressure in the same manner that they were doing on that Vertigo. But clearly they're a little bit more comfortable. And now they're going to swallow their pride. And I'm not going to say it's impossible. We get a good dig round here, but we're looking very likely to be all square at 12 apiece. Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Zyphon gonna slide on to an early deagle kill.
Every kill here matters so much because bNE.gxx have lost a lot of their loss bonus with these rounds.
Oh, goodbye, Lounge. I guess he was spotted beforehand. That's a heavy damage nade. Didn't realize he was low. But he goner. He's a goner. Would have been a dangerous spot as well, so that's a nice kill to find, even though it was just a deke on the other side. Denies that aggressive apartment's posturing.
Bit of a shame that
push.
those guns are in the middle of nowhere as well, so...
Yeah.
Unlucky.
And the one rifle. I guess the D would be nice as well, but... Seems like this is just going to be a setup to see if they go for the push in towards apps. Punish that and operate off of it, but... I'm ready to get into a situation where Sprout players just have to die. I'll try the B play. It's the right read. It's just Synopsy here. He's the only one. If they just overwhelm with numbers... Well, that's not the way to do it. Group up and overwhelm, perhaps. The protracted fight, gonna work out all right for Synopsy.
As it turns out, it was easier for the Vikings to cross the Atlantic than Sprout to get out and onto the B-bomb site.
I like it.
I can't remember why it's almost certainly true now. Maybe I guess they from archaeology, but I mean, isn't it also corroborated by like vocal stories passed down in Scandinavia?
I believe so. Solar Storm confirms. All right, here's an article from Reuters from October 20th of last year. But we should focus on this round, so I'll save that for a little bit. I'll educate you in the future. Right now, wow, that's a big kill to find, but it is traded. Oh, and Synopsy, the gap in the smoke played beautifully, and now mid-control denied. That was looking a little rough for a moment, and just completely dealt with. It's all about Zyphon here. Can he make something happen? The answer is no. One Flatro always had that one under control. Bomb's been lost. Lonx is alone. This is a complete non-starter for Sprout. They're done for.
Wow. Yeah, bNE.gxx, they fought mid with pretty much all 5 players there, I think. So, the Sprout guys, it's too much to deal with, and unfortunately the A players couldn't gain enough space to actually get the punish off. So, Yeah, aggressive calling from bNE.Eagles. They're really heating up individually. Of course, in this game at the start, it was ErigoN, it was GXX, but Synopsys and bNE.Flatro. It's really just scenario lagging behind. The others have picked up so much since the roles have been reversed. And yes, now you can inform me what the article said.
Yep, as we've found no damage here. All right, so apparently there's long been known that there was a settlement of 8 timber frame buildings on like the northern tip of Newfoundland in Canada, but they didn't know how old it was exactly. But a new form of dating. All right, let's see if LongX actually can pull this off. I'm starting to believe. I think it might happen. I'm trying to deal with him. He gets the first. 2 more to find. It's already a great result in this round. He's brought it down to just the 1. Oh, the flames will force him out. Knows he can't get the reload off, so only 6 bullets. But the headshot is there. Call him the Viking. He's conquering the new world of this round.
How does he do it? How does he do it? He's just undeniable. He's 17 years old, Mike. He's 17 years old.
17?
And he plays with such composure. He's not... Of course, he's aggressive. He likes to take fights, but he's not overzealous. He has good fundamentals. He plays lurk roles on T-side. He plays the spots that a lot of players don't want to play. And still he top frags, and still he has amazing impact. This kid is worth his weight in gold.
He's the future, man. He really is. Sprout have found a gem. One Flatro. Who's gonna look? Who's gonna turn? It's gonna be StaehrH, who says, "Hey, bud, what you doing there?" Oh, and takes 2 as a result. Synopsys trusted his teammate, thought that position was clear, and well, that's a bit of a catastrophe here for the bNE.Eagles. It's like sailing into a solar storm. ErigoN gets an answer. He has been the absolute tank for this squad, and he'll have another blind firing into the apartments, keeping this in whack, keeping this into a 3v3, but the position in mid means he has nowhere to go, and he doesn't care.
What?
ErigoN almost has 30 kills in this one. The bomb is going to be planted. This is a 2-on-2. And this is going to come down to the heavy hitters. Scenario and ErigoN working together. Goodbye, ErigoN. It'll have to be Scenario stepping up. And he's going to give it a whirl. Keeping out market. LauNX. Backed by the bench. Policy here, and he'll have it. No problem whatsoever.
What a round. Wow. StaehrH with the first 2. I don't think Sprout really did anything wrong in terms of losing these kills. It was just ErigoN playing out of his skin, but it's just not enough. This has kind of been the moral of the story today for bNE.Eagles, is we get these small moments in isolation. In terms of the whole picture, it hasn't been there, and now the investment comes in. Deagle's in the mix. We've got M4s, but next to no utility. This is dire, and we're somehow in a scenario where ErigoN's had to sack himself off having even armor to drop those M4s.
So Alan, now that we've actually got a pause, a little bit of time, I'm going to explain what happened. Basically, with that settlement, they have wood fragments from it, and using a new technique to track a solar storm that they knew the date of from presumably other points of reference, they could track that the settlement was occupied as early as 1021. Maybe earlier than that, but at least in 1021 AD, which is 471 years before the first voyage of Columbus. Crazy.
There you have it. Vikings be good sailors. It's always mad to me that the longboat could do such vast distances and still go up a river.
A well-built craft. Doesn't have to be huge. It is really incredible, though, what they did with those ships.
Okay, slow round, mid-control, refresh. He loves these, you know, kind of calls around himself in mid. I'll take this control, you guys get set up for something. Bit of a B-split set to come in, and well, Synopsys tucked into ladder room. Molly doesn't actually go deep enough, but the flashbang's good, and surely he's dead to rights. How is he not dead? No way.
ErigoN's dead, though. If they deal with GXX, this is still a bomb plant, and maybe Synopsys gone. I was going to say maybe they could just save the rifle, because realistically, for the bNE.Eagles, you should be setting up to play for overtime. They're not going to. One Flatcher without 1 kill, there's no way he can justify this. They're taking the fight to him. They don't want him to have this gun going forward. And I will say, if they get over eager on the hunt, there's a world where something happens. The problem is, without a kid, at this point, the time is too far gone. So Juan Flatro will just try and save this gun, but it is going to be mount point, series point found here for Sprout. And they're going to look to keep their season alive here in ESL Challenger League. Bad news, Eagles. Much like many species of eagles in the world right now, well, they're facing extinction.
What a turnaround. First half was pretty troublesome for Sprout. Same with the start of the second, but in the last few, they've just found, you know, a second wind to lift their sails, carry them over the expanse as they look to forage into new lands, being the second round of the lower bracket Challenger League playoffs.
Synopsy with a mag. Synopsy with a mag is the lone sentinel of this B site. And call me crazy, but I think he gets two here. They're gonna think that Molotov clears a little bit better than it does. Oh, there's one. Uh-oh. Mag 7 from this spot. You've seen it be a real meat grinder of a gun. All right, he betrays the mag. I no longer have faith in them taking this round. But they've gotten a kill elsewhere, so they may not just need the shotgun to bless them and bring them through. It's looking like the Bad News Eagles might not be done fighting here. Staehr could get caught with the util. Doesn't quite go around the corner. RigoN was hoping for that opportunity, but here's to be the catch anyway. Goodbye, Staehr. Catastrophe in this one. refrezh gonna bring it back, but again, the knives come out at awkward times here. Players getting caught with util, with knives. It's all about Slacks. And goodbye, Slacks. Up, hand delivered into GXX's arms.
I'm a little bit surprised someone didn't override them there and say save, because their money's really on the edge. A couple of extra guns could have gone a long way. And somehow, somehow Bad News Eagles survive on the round where they were forced up. SMGs, FATMAS in the mix. Even get an AWP for free. They're feeling great about chances of overtime now.
I didn't quite realize refrezh was on a Tech 9. Never mind. Override me. You're right, Alan.
And you're giving them an AWP, which they never would have had.
Yeah, not exactly ideal. Well, if they melt down the gold in these AK skins, maybe they could have gone for something, but I'll have to work with what they got.
Well, if we keep traveling south on our voyage,
Okay.
I've heard about this city in
Oh,
South
yeah?
America with
Huh.
plenty of gold.
Sounds pretty nice. Someone should make an animated movie about it. LauNX has found an opener and a lot of space. Pressure on the ramp player. That's the bomb found, but GXX, what a critical kill. Scenario's taken out. The bomb can be retrieved, but this one is very much anyone's game. RigoN's gonna push the smoke. He's gonna push the smoke. I can just feel it deep in my pores. Okay, he waits for the smoke fade. He's still dead on it. He doesn't just push through. That's a good trade, and that's the round. We're going to overtime. Overtime. We had to get it. Bad News Eagles, they're not ready to quit. It looked like it was Sprout in control towards the end of the half, but explosive play, Mag 7 play, broken buys from the Bad News Eagles, and they stay fighting. Give themselves a chance here, and that's sometimes all you need, Alan. bNE.rigoN certainly taking full advantage of it. Monstrous in regulation. Big part of why they're here, and he's going to keep going in OT, and he's already going on the flank. This is so aggressive. They're getting hemmed in towards Rampant. Well, Scenari's already going to strike. He's going to cut down 3. Who needs a flank when Scenari's on the front? Bad News Eagles looking alive in this first round of overtime.
Well, that was a non-starter. Long size immediately. They commit to A when Bad News Eagles knew exactly what was coming. They got the cannonades down, and Sprout had to go for it. There's no plan B. There's nothing else they could have done. Thank God it's overtime. Thank God it's not the major in terms of the rule set, in terms of money. They should be okay in the third anyway, but that was a stark wake-up call that bNE are still in this series.
Look at how much more hesitant Sprout are, especially with regards to mid control. Just now starting to approach it. Learn underpass. Let's refresh. And held for a couple of different ways. And this lean, focus mid, this could work out really nicely for Bad News Eagles. There's 3 players with eyes towards mid. Play one. Flatro getting aggressive on it, playing around the smoke, finding Zyphon. Refresh? He's gone past. Does he realize? Refresh? He must have thought one Flatro got out, but presumably he checked that position. Cleared it. That was a bit of a misread. Staehr quickly traded out as he tries to get through and towards window, and it's just down to the 2. A 2v4. This round should not be viable, especially with the crossfire setup. Jail and Cat. It's all down to LauNX, and we've heaped praise upon him, but this one's a little bit too much to ask, and indeed, the Bad News Eagles look good for another.
Been a very flat overtime so far. Wow, what was going on there in Connector? Just lost too many numbers. Sprout-refrezh, I guess he thought that rigoN had fallen out, but it wasn't the case, and he pays the price. Sprout have to find at least one round here. These were 8-7.5s. In regulation, and it just feels like 3 chances on either side is too much to allow this Bad News Eagles squad.
Okay, that's one way to take the initiative. 2 kills already found. Yes, you lose rigoN in towards mid, but dang, all right, one after another. Sprout just completely stunned here in this overtime. It's just down to 1. Zyphon, I mean, you might even want to just go back for the bomb at this point. Certainly don't want to gain space towards site and realize, oh god, I need to leave. But as it is, he's going to be trying to deathmatch. He's just got to find the kills. That's his approach. I mean, it should be a hopeless situation. But never say never. Never say die. Zyphon certainly isn't interested in being extinguished just yet. But he will be. Whether he wants to or not. What a difference for the Bad News Eagles. It feels like they've bought in at this point. I mean, that's the team we're hoping for.
Yeah, where has it been for the rest of this series? They've came alive in those last couple rounds of regulation. And here in overtime, just formidable, winning every fight. rigoN is like an absolute bastion in Connector. Can't get past him whatsoever. And yes, 3 chances. T side, they're going to play a scrappy game, I can guarantee you that. And only, you know, a couple fights needs to go their way. And they're on a bomb site. And we're heading on to map 3.
GXX. Wow, looking for a fight there. Not gonna have it just yet. This seems like it might be a more straightforward A play coming through from the Bad News Eagles. Keeping it simple. for now at least, Sprout are not well positioned to deal with it. Refrezh is going to try and change that. He's rotating around. Well, a little bit of an error put in this, a little bit of a beat. This could actually work out all right. Utility in hand for scenario. That's 2 players caught. Zyphon on the same line, and well, this is looking like a stumper here for the Bad News Eagles as they try and get that last round to take us to a 3rd map. gxx, he's alone. At least find a consolation kill, but they're wrapping him on the flank. And he knows he's hemmed in. He knows it's just a matter of time. They've got contain. LauNX will hold that line, and so now they're just very comfortable to play on site. LauNX will make sure you can't get out. So gxx just has to create something miraculous here. Creeping. Giving him nothing. Not an inch. Not a whisper of a chance. And refrezh. We'll make sure it doesn't get at all interesting.
Okay. 1 down. 2 to go. Zyphon. Perfect timing on the peak. Teams up with a refresh in CT to make it look nice and easy. Even so, needs to keep it up where that's going. 2 more map points to get us to a 3rd and final decider here. And of course, the loser today is going to be very upset because they're going home as early as was possible here in the playoffs of ESL Challenger League EU. Bit of a mouthful.
Just gotta have a bigger mouth, I guess.
Common problem.
Common problem. Look at all this space. Look at how Trump got there in a con. This is being checked by Slacks. And he will find the first, but does he realize the player's already up? They seem to be wary. And the crossfire from Balk and Jungle can be really potent for dealing with it, especially if Refrezh starts off early. Lose stairs. They won't get the cat peek at least. But Zyphon's position, he hasn't been cleared yet, and that's going to become an issue. Yup, Zyphon activated at the perfect time. It's all on the gxx. This one's going to come down to the wire. It's another round where you just can't do anything gxx, and so this is, I mean, it's going to come down to the last, and with the rule set, with the change to 12.5 on the Moolah, gxx wants to save this AWP. He's backing away.
They do actually need to because someone else could drop an orb, but he can't. Oh, maybe he could just about. It'd be very close. I think you just
drop a rifle.
Yeah, but he might not be able to get armor and a rifle and nades. Whereas if he saves this, he's got the whole shebang. I was thinking if my mouth was twice as big, I could eat twice as fast and thus be more efficient in how I spend my time during the day.
I don't know if that's how that works.
That's science.
I think the issue would be your esophagus, right?
Well, we
I guess you
can
could
increase
chew
everything
food faster.
by double.
Okay. Yeah, if you were just a huge
Actually,
person, but then you would need to eat more food.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
So it's the same issue.
Maybe
Probably less efficient, actually.
What if I had a second mouth?
A second mouth? Where would that be?
I don't know. Somewhere you could funnel food in easily.
You need a second stomach too, I think.
No. Modern medicine. I'm sure we can pay for this.
Duplicated digestive tract. Instead of a 6-pack, you'd have a 12-pack then.
Yes.
Just 2 stomachs.
That will be the new fashion.
Be terrifying.
That everyone's gunning for.
Oh, with the secondary op, this is going to be the big point of contact. Slacks is lost elsewhere. That could provide a little bit of space if Bad News Eagles want to adjust and go for it. Oh, they're going to test. They're going to test this up. And that's the bomb. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-o. Now utility has to be spent. They're almost forced to funnel on in. Tons of utils being dumped here, but they're not quite fast behind it. They're kind of stunned up here in the apartments. That's a big kill, though, for gxx. Means that their rotation has to come through for Sprout. So they're leaving Stair here. But this is just to pull focus, and eventually Sprout's going to realize the jig's going to be up. Stair gets a critical kill, keeps it even in the numbers. There's the cleanup in mid. No. Okay, gxx somehow surviving. A big kill now. This freezes up Zyphon. He'll finally find the one, but it's going to be about the post plant. Wow, on the bomb does go down. It's all on CSGO. CSGO and Zyphon for the map. A duel for the ages. Dancing up the catwalk, dodging bullets left, right, and center. Zyphon trying to bring this in, trying to bring this home. He's on the sidearm. He's got time. He can adjust. CSGO has been ticked down. They're both about half of health. And here comes the line. There comes the shot. CSGO takes it home. The clutch confirmed. We're going to Ancient.